Protein is a great tool for weight loss, but not all proteins are created equal. Today I'm sharing 5 high protein foods that could be causing weight gain. Let's dive into it. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance, and today's video is sponsored by Kettle and Fire. More on them in a bit. Okay, that first protein food is peanut butter. If you were to just Google search high protein foods, peanut butter would probably be pretty high on that list. And you can see why it does, because supposedly around 2 tablespoons of peanut butter has around 7 to 8 grams of protein. Or at least that's what it says on the nutrition facts label. But peanut butter can specifically be a problem if you're using it to hit your daily protein needs. Even though 2 tablespoons of peanut butter has around 7 grams of protein, it's a really poor quality protein. The DIAS score, which is a measurement of protein quality, rates peanut butter at around a score of 46, which means it's a very low quality protein. Peanut butter is one of those foods that can also just be a bit addictive for a lot of people. It combines fat, carbs, and salt, which could cause a slight bliss point, which makes it really easy to overeat. And there's not really enough protein in peanut butter to counter this bliss point effect. Now, there's something called the protein leverage hypothesis, which suggests our body's always searching for certain amino acids which make up protein. And our body will continue to feel hungry until we've gotten enough of those specific proteins and amino acids. So to get enough protein from peanut butter, you might be tempted to eat like half a jar or maybe the whole jar. However, interestingly, one study did take the protein from peanut butter isolated, so remove the fat, remove the carbs, and found that the protein within peanut butter did have some improvements on muscle mass, although nowhere close to what you'd get from like whey protein or other protein sources like meat. And as we know, maintaining muscle mass is so important for achieving a weight loss goal and keeping the metabolism higher so you don't experience a weight loss plateau. So if you're purely plant-based and you're using peanut butter protein powder, this could theoretically possibly be helpful, but the results will likely not be as good as other sources. For best body recomposition and fat loss benefits, I personally like to use higher quality proteins. I have a video where I list those and you can check that out right up here. Okay, the second food are potatoes. Did you know that potatoes are actually one of the best quality sources of protein from a plant-based source? It actually ranks really high on the DIAS score, at least compared to other plant-based sources. In fact, it's just a little bit below a lot of other animal-based sources of protein in terms of quality. This is also probably why potatoes rank pretty high on the satiety index, which rates how full and satisfied we feel from certain foods. But the problem with protein from potatoes is that in order to get anywhere close to the amount that you would actually need, you need to eat a lot of potatoes. One large potato has about 5.5 grams of protein, but it also comes packed with about 62 grams of carbohydrates, and only 8 of those carbs come from fiber. Now, typically from a meal, you want about 30 grams of complete protein, and to get 30 grams of protein from a regular potato, you would need to eat about 5.5 potatoes. That would pack in about 297 net carbs for that one meal. Potatoes also really high glycemic load, so it can cause a really big spike in our blood sugar and our storing hormone insulin, which ultimately could cause a big crash and lead us to craving more and more food. Now, for the plant-based folks, there are potato protein powders, although they're really hard to find and honestly, they taste pretty bad. But it actually would be the best option for a plant-based individual for complete protein in something like a smoothie. Still not as great as some other sources, but in terms of a plant-based option, definitely head and shoulders above everything else. Now, one little hack that I like to do during my postpartum weight loss journey is combining collagen-rich foods with high-quality sources of protein. This helps to reduce hunger, helps to shut off my sugar cravings, which ultimately makes my weight loss process so much easier, which is why I love today's sponsor, Kettle and Fire. Kettle and Fire is a really high-quality bone broth company that's really rich in collagen. They slowly simmer bones from grass-fed cows so that they can pull out as much collagen as possible, which I don't know about you guys, I do not have the time to be slowly simmering bones in order to make my own bone broth. So having Kettle and Fire just in my pantry that I can pull out and add into pretty much any recipe makes my life and getting in collagen so much easier. Kettle and Fire also comes in a ton of different flavors, so you can add it into pretty much any type of meal. Although still my personal favorite is their original bone broth in both the chicken or the beef option. I add it into a lot of different recipes. I put it into my chili, I put it into my soups and stews. I use it when I make pot roast. I also love adding it into my pumpkin sausage spaghetti squash pasta recipe. Oh my gosh, so good. Having Kettle and Fire makes it so easy to add collagen into my meals. And Kettle and Fire is super generous, and they're offering my community 20% off their bone broths when you use code AUTUMNBAITS at checkout. So make sure you stock up, don't miss those savings. I'll have the link and the details down in the description below. Okay, the third protein food is almond butter. This is very similar to peanut butter, where a lot of people think that it's super high in protein and will use it as a protein source in their meals. But in reality, it is so low quality protein that it really really can't even claim to have a protein quality score. It also has similar issues to peanut butter where it is really easy to overeat. Now don't get me wrong, I love using peanut butter, I love using almond butter, but they're not things that I consider as part of my protein intake. I just view these as high quality fats that I'll put into my smoothies, my protein waffles, or my cottage cheese bowls. Any additional protein I'm getting from almond butter, peanut butter, I just view as a little nice add-on, but I'm definitely not relying on it. Okay, the fourth is wheat. This is also often listed as a high protein food when you search this online, and one slice of whole wheat bread does have about 4 to 5 grams of protein, but the protein is not complete and it's also a very poor quality protein, which studies suggest that the quality of that protein is so low from wheat that it falls into the no quality claim category for protein. Now you'll often see wheat combined with other sources of protein like peanut butter to try and complete those proteins, which they could theoretically complete each other and provide the amino acids that each are missing. Although still the DIAS score, which is that protein quality score, is so low that you would need to eat so much more of those sources of protein to hit anywhere close to what the body truly needs. Which means in addition to those sources of protein, you're getting a lot of those refined carbohydrates, which ultimately could work against your weight loss goal. Okay, the fifth protein food are protein bars. Now some protein bars are certainly better than others when it comes to quality, and for a lot of these higher quality protein bars, it's still probably a much better option for the protein than some of these other items I listed earlier. But the issue is that these protein bars often come packaged with a lot of sugar, which obviously will work against a weight loss goal. Or they can often contain too little protein to really make a difference, which could lead you to wanting to eat more and more food because you're not actually hitting that protein to be satisfied. And this can therefore encourage snacking behavior. Snacking behavior leaves us just always a little bit hungry. And when we're feeling constantly a little hungry, it results in us choosing foods that are not going to serve our goals. I mean, if you look at the typical snack type of foods, they're really high in refined carbohydrates, really high in added sugars, and often very low in protein. This is why I generally don't recommend protein bars, but instead trying to aim for a 3-meal structure without any snacking. However, there's always going to be times when we accidentally undereat and we need to have a little bit of something in between our meals. And if that's the case, you need to make sure you're choosing the right type of snack that will support your goals. So you can check out my list for the best snack options with this video next. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.